Crime fighters. Special focus.
Since the emergence of this dreaded sect Boko Haram in 2009, led by its leader, Ustaz Mohammed Yusuf.
First Bank. Truly the first.
Crime fighters. Exclusive interview.
Hello viewers, welcome to Crime Fighters, the Police and You. My name is Aisha Tosan. Today in our studios, we'll be talking about the general insecurity in our nation. And we would take on a particular issue that have bothered us in the last 2 years. I'm talking about bombing. Bombing and explosion is alien to us as a nation and as a people. But as it were, in the last 2 years or thereabout, it's becoming a way of life for us. With me in the studios to discuss this very touching issue are Chief Tunji Alakpini, a one-time Force Public Relations Officer and a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
We also have, on my immediate left, Dr. Moshood Fashola, Head Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam.
And of course, the only lady amongst them, the Amazon of human rights in our society, Dr. Jo Odumake. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Like I said, bomb explosion is alien to us. That's not our way of life. If you recall, December 25, 2009, we had a Nigerian that was involved in self-suicide mission aboard a plane to America. Thereafter, our nation was placed on the list of terrorist nation. We all cried that American government should delist Nigeria from that particular terrorist nation list. Are they right to have placed us on that list? Are we truly a terrorist nation? Or are we beginning to wear the toga of a terrorist nation? I think I will take on Mr. Alakpini, or Chief Alakpini as it were. My big brother who I worked with very closely when he was the Force Public Relations Officer. Sir, you've had my introduction. Are we tilting towards a terrorist nation?
I don't think we're tilting towards a terrorist nation. I only think there's a failure or systems failure somewhere, where the security agencies are not getting their acts right. A situation that we're living to taking action. Yoruba, they have this adage: what you will not accept in the night, you start rejecting in the morning. When the incidents of bombing started, we should have gone straight to the drawing board and find out the causes or the cause. All security agencies should have sat down and say, yes, this is new, this is alien to us. What are we supposed to do? We look for experts in that field. In all agencies, in the Nigeria Police Force, we have the bomb disposals. In the Army, you have the EODs. In other agencies, you have similar things, where we have to seek other external assistance or knowledge. There's nothing stopping us. But we left it up to first time, second time, third time, and until it is now carried to our doorsteps. That is the doorstep of the Nigeria Police Force, before everybody is waking up. I think we are not a terrorist nation. It is only there's a systems failure somewhere.
Dr. Odumake, do you toe his line of...
Well, I sincerely do, because I really think that what we abandoned like Chief rightly said, we are not even talking about the cause, we are treating the symptoms. And there's no way in which, if we provide a cosmetic solution, that will stand the test of time. And when the first has happened, we glossed over it. After glossing over it, it became a recurring decimal. And then it got to the point that at Detroit, a bomb was almost detonated, and we're given that blanket, blanket punishment by trying to brand us as a terrorist nation. And shortly after that, I also knew I traveled, and I was not really happy the way some of us with that green passport was treated. But I really think that the major problem that we'll have is when, talk is very cheap, and then you find even our security agencies, it is enshrined in our constitution that any leader, anybody that is in position that cannot guarantee security of lives and property has no business in that. So, but even those who are to guarantee such kept agonizing times without number, instead of organizing for change. And by the time we have to organize, we don't have to talk about, we have to forget about sentiments. We have to go to the nitty-gritties. And we also have to find out that as a nation, we can't continue to go round and round like the barber's chair. We have motion without movement. There comes a time in the life of a nation when we have to move. And when we talk about security of lives and property, we all know the experience we go through when bangers, different things are thrown during the yellow tide period, how people, it has caused untold hardship in terms of health hazards and several other things. So it has almost become like a norm. So I think that this program is a welcome initiative. Like Chief also said, that it's now when the thing got to the doorstep of, the heartbeat of our police, that is why people are now waking up. And what we say about all other police stations, around this country. So I think that time has come for us, instead of just curing the symptoms, to look at the cause. After looking at the cause, find that lasting solution. Why finding the lasting solution? All those people who are culpable must be brought to book, and not only that, those who have been treated with kid gloves must also be made to realize that we don't have any country except this, and security of lives and property, which is enshrined in our constitution, must be followed to the letter.
All right, Dr. Fashola, I'm not going to ask you to dwell on that. Let me come to the point. Like I said in my introduction, in the last 2 years, we've had series of bomb explosion. We all know that bombing actually started from South, and for them it was for a cause. According to them, because of the environmental degradation of that area, they needed to come up with something that will make government listen to them. If you listen to what Dr. Dumakin said, some agencies or governments are not listening. Do we say that is responsible for why fundamentalists called Boko Haram have decided to take to explosion of bombs here and there?
Thank you very much indeed. I feel that Nigerians are the most law-abiding people in the world. And this kind of thing is very alien to us. We are very gentle people. So something is wrong somewhere. And I believe there's some alien or foreign influence in the matter. Number one, like the Assistant Secretary of Police has said, the security outfits have shared their responsibility. And people can take advantage of that. But there are more fundamental problems that we are facing, and that is lack of development. A the large majority of this country, of the people of this country, have been sentenced to indefinite poverty. They don't see any hope. They don't see any chance. So they are frustrated. In fact, a lot of people will want to commit suicide because there's no job, they have no income. So it's a failure of leadership that's causing all these problems. For me, it's nothing but failure of leadership at all levels. And when I say failure of leadership, I'm not referring to the federal level, not to the presidency alone, but the assembly, the member of National Assembly, the governor, State of Assembly, the educational institutions, the religious leaders also. All leaders, to me, have failed this country. And anything can happen. But I don't take the stories as it's put forward that some people are responsible. I think there's more to it. And we need to find out facts about what's really going on. But what's going on in this country is that we suppress facts and we don't know what's going on. I cannot comment when I've not heard from other sides. Matters have not brought to the courts. We have extrajudicial penalties being awarded. If you have arrested some people, bring them to court. Let everybody listen to what's going on. Let us be transparent about all things. But generally, I feel that our leaders at all levels, religious, educational, industrial, have neglected the masses of this country. And people can take advantage of these jobless, idle youths and use them anyhow. This has said that they give you some little money to go and do havoc. And they say, okay, why would they want to defend society? Society does not take after their interests. Society are wicked to them, so they have no interest to protect society. And police generally too, they have not gotten the cooperation of the people. And for me, police in this country are not fanatically committed to law enforcement. And they have not enlisted the cooperation of the people. But security is not the police alone. It's our collective responsibility. The police have not won the hearts of the people in assisting them. Because for them will happen, people will know, and they can inform police. But they are not interested in informing police. But they don't see police as interested in protecting their lives and property. And as I agree with Dr. Dumaki, that if leadership cannot guarantee the security of life and property, they can better resign. The number one responsibility of leaders is to guarantee security to life and property. If they are unable to do so, then they are incompetent and they should resign.
All right.
AIG at Tunji Alakmini, you've just heard what Dr. Fashola said.
Well, I agree that when you are moving with the time, you move with the time in totality. The Nigeria police force is not developing to the level in which they will not be disconnected from the people they are policing. The system is such that their training has still not been invigorated to the level at which we can say they are hoping for advancement. There is need for training and retraining of officers for them to be able to identify and know their role in society. You look at a typical policeman, you try to find out 10 policemen posted to a particular point. The 10 of them should have a role for being at that point in time. Can you find out from each one, if you ask any one of them, that, okay, why are you at this point? Mm-hmm. He may not be able to define. So we look at that as a general system failure, in which a policeman posted to the bank does not, as a vanguard, is not aware that besides the fact that he's supposed to protect that bank and guard it, he's also there to be able to observe people moving around. Where he sees anything wrong, he's supposed to inform the nearest person. No information you notice in terms of security is minute. It's very important. Mm-hmm. The mere fact that you notice one person moving towards the bank and walking past, not quite 5 minutes, you see the same person walking past again, and another 10 minutes, you are seeing the same person walking past towards the bank. There's nothing stopping you challenging. You have that responsibility. You have that power. Okay? I saw you moving down this way the last time. Not quite long, are you passing again? Are you on surveillance? So I believe the Nigeria police needs a lot of training and retraining to be able to meet the challenges of the moment.
Dr. Odumakin, the leader of Boko Haram, the late Mohammed, recorded a tape just like Osama bin Laden would do, warning the government. He actually mentioned the tiers of government and the security agencies, demanding that he wants Western education not to be a way of life in Nigeria, giving governments 1 month to actually think of what he has said, or they would unleash terror. And indeed, 1 month after, we started having the problems of bomb explosion. Some school of thoughts are beginning to liken this with the South-South problem. How do you relate these two events? Are they the same?
Well, first and foremost, listening to what the late Mohammed Yusuf, this is recording, and then Boko Haram, they said no to Western civilization. Shortly after that, and at that point in time when Boko Haram was operating, they had a place where one could easily locate them. After the police unleashed terror, and then the army got him arrested, that's Yusuf, he would have done a lot in terms of letting us know why. A lot of other things. What we saw an innocent man handcuffed, he wasn't without shirt, and after that, he was summarily executed without due process. After his execution, his other members went on the ground, and it became much more difficult, to even get those perpetrating those dastardly acts. Again, if one want to find out if there's really a correlation between what has been happening at the Boko Haram axis and then the agitation at the Niger Delta, before June 12th, there was no PC. What gave rise to PC? As a result of the fact that after losing the man who lost the mandate and several other things took place, then a situation where people are talking about derivation. I've traveled, even Ken Saruwiwa was a national officer of the Campaign for Democracy when I was also an officer. And we were all sitting in Beko and Somputi's office when Ken Saruwiwa said he was going back to Guni. Later on, he left. We knew what happened to him. And then the people at Niger Delta met. They started their own agitation. We started bombs and several other things. Again, Masop, what gave rise to Masop? Because of the fact that people think that there is no justice, fairness, and equity, and the best thing is for them, to take their destiny in their own hands. But I really think that the mistake, that we made at that point in time was to start giving amnesty, because really, what we cannot sustain, we cannot start. We should not start it. If a precedent has been set, if the yardstick has been taken, South, what then happens to others? People have another precedent, to refer to. So, in a nutshell, our leaders failed us in terms of finding that solution. They just abandoned leprosy to look for cure for eczema. And, thinking and looking for that lasting solution has always been like, waiting for a picture in a calendar to shed tears. But as I speak now, I really think that, honestly, there is no correlation, there's no basis, for comparison. But the mistake that we made is the extrajudicial killing that was meted to the leader of Boko Haram. And after that, these people then went underground. How can one look at what happened? Bin Laden, I mean, how bombs, started going. So, but the time has come, for us now to forge ahead as a nation. And in forging ahead, we must avoid needless deaths.
Okay, let me quickly take you on that extrajudicial killing. I was one of those who did not agree with the human rights sector that the man was killed extrajudicially. The reason is this: because this same man killed several other officers and in the process burnt a lot of houses. The killing was so dehumanizing that what they do is slit officers' tummy and take out the intestines of these officers. And I'm not saying that it must be an eye for an eye, but a situation where the officers felt that the system was also not protecting them, because they've had instances where their colleagues have been killed over time, and not even the force nor the federal government has done anything to protect them or protect their family. And so those officers reacted in that fate. That's the angle I saw it from. That we have a situation here that is a bit dicey. Today, I think that is why we have the problem that we have. The police officers, or indeed our security agencies, would rather, individually, would rather abstain from getting involved because the system does not protect them. As we talk, 4 of those officers are still in jail over this issue of the late Mohammed. And their families felt, but we also lost people. Nobody has been prosecuted. Nobody has been killed. Are you saying this one life is much more important than several lives that were killed by this sect of people? What's your reaction to this?
Well, I really feel that although we have encountered lots of frustration, we have lost lots of lives, but I really think that at the point in time where Mohammed Yusuf, where he was arrested, soldiers arrested him, brought him to the police. Although we cannot really calculate all the lives that have been lost and the way they were just cut short, but I really think that when we talk about human rights issue, Yusuf then, no matter what had been perpetrated, still remain innocent until he's been pronounced guilty by any competent court of that jurisdiction. And then getting him would have been able to unravel a lot of things shrouded in secrecy. And
But Osama bin Laden was treated that same way.
yeah, Osama bin Laden.
And President Obama said he would do it again and again if we have 10,000 Osama bin Laden. Because the world wanted that Osama bin Laden should be arrested live, bring him to justice. We want to hear so much from him, how he was able to sit in the comfort of that room and plot all these killings everywhere in the world. But President Obama said that's the best way to go about it.
I really think of Osama bin Laden. He was, a directive has been given that he should be smoked out of wherever he was, and then they'll be looking for him. But I really think that if the avenue necessitated that he should be arrested, probably he should have been arrested. But even he gave counter directive that in case he's to be arrested, one of his sons, should make sure he gets him down. But the case of Yusuf, he was arrested because he did not resist arrest. He was arrested, and I still saw him while he was alive. And I really think that, honestly, to have taken him, for justice would have done a lot. But today, at least some few days ago, 2 assistant commissioner of police, have been brought to trial for that. for the killing of Yusuf. It has taken a snail pace, movement to get to that, and I think it's an afterthought. So the world will be a better place if we have suspects and we hold those suspects, we bring them to be able to tell us, because he as a leader probably will be able to tell us a lot of things, rather than the ones that will now have members taking laws into their hands and doing a lot, and after that they do that, they disappear. Now the world is becoming, Nigeria is becoming much more dangerous than we would have had probably if we had brought Yusuf to book, and then we would have been able to get some other things shrouded in secrecy, and probably we might have been able to move forward as a nation.
Stay tuned with Crime Fighters, the police, and you.
Crime Fighters. Police Brief.
Welcome to Crime Fighters Briefs. First, the headlines. IGP addresses senior police officers. Police tackles transport union crisis. Details in a moment.
Crime Fighters.
The Inspector General of Police, Hafiz Abubakar Ringim, on Wednesday convened a conference with senior police officers at the Louis Edet House, Force Headquarters, Abuja, to collectively review the present security situation in the country and to chart a course forward to enable officers and men of the force function more effectively in the discharge of their constitutional responsibilities. Speaking, Ringim said the conference was to share the experience of the June 16 bomb blast that rocked the police headquarters with officers and men of the force, as well as take a first-hand look at the totality of the damage caused by the blast and lessons drawn. While acknowledging the wonderful work done by various committees set up to examine the immediate and remote cause of the bomb explosion, he charged the management team to look at the reports of each of the committees and produce a working document that will form as a guide to preferring solutions that would guarantee the security of the nation, as well as police personnel and office premises. He also used the medium to commiserate with some families that lost their loved ones in the explosion, particularly the family of late Assistant Superintendent of Police, Dangtim Nango, while thanking the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for his personal visit to police headquarters and his kind words. The Ogun State Police Command has warned that it will deal decisively with anyone or group of persons planning to cause political instability in the state. In a press release signed by the Command Public Relations Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Police Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the command stated that information at its disposal revealed that some group of persons are planning to cause unrest in the state by attacking commercial motorcyclists and motorists in a bid to hijack the leadership of the Road Transport Union in Ogun State. Assistant Superintendent of Police Adejobi added that the Ogun State government, through the House of Assembly, is taking frantic efforts to look into these security-threatening issues. Thus, the command wishes to state categorically that pending any decision or action of the state government, stakeholders or members of these transport unions are warned to maintain the status quo, and that anyone or group of people who foment trouble or attempt to seize any leadership forcefully will be arrested and prosecuted without prejudice. Meanwhile, the command's image maker confirmed the death of one Mr. Saula Ogunjohun as a result of the attack launched on Okada riders by Commercial Motorcycle Operators Association, KOMOA, in a bid to hijack leadership of the Riders Exco, and the arrest of 7 suspects who will be charged to court with murder. That's all on Crime Fighters Briefs.